Hello and welcome everyone back to the 80% Spider-Man 2000 race brought to you by Crypto and hosted by Spyron. My name is Willie Fetty and I'm so happy to be back here commentating these races. Unfortunately, I did get knocked down the last round, but with me, honestly, this is like my right-hand man in commentary right now is my man Chuck Nicey.
Hello, hello. Glad to see this little bit of deja vu here, since this is pretty much exactly the setup that we had the last time Spyron and Soda went against each other.
I know, man. I'm so excited. Honestly, I can never get sick of that intro too. We got to give it out. We got to give it up to Spyron for bringing us all of these editing stuff. But today, dude, we have a great race today. It's between Soda and Spyron. How are you feeling before you get into Spyron stats here? How are you feeling?
I I'm honestly really excited. It's nice to see this is the first rematch that they've had since their seeding phase. So we really get to see how far they've come along since then. And because this is the losers bracket finals, this is one of the last few races that we have until the end of the tournament. So it's really all coming down to this.
Yeah, and honestly, what two people are better for it to come down to in losers bracket than Soda and Spyron? Little rivalry since they've been in the scene. So I'm honestly super excited. I can get into Soda stats real quick if you want, and we'll just roll from there.
Absolutely. Go to Soda and I'll take Spyron.
Yeah, so arguably one of the best PS runners of all time, we have Soda Lear, running on emulator. You're probably going to see that for the rest of the races, chat, because that is just kind of where we are now. No more hardware runners. His best race time is a 29:52, and his PB is in the 28s. Um, he's seed number one for a reason. This man hates to lose. He's ran 6 out of the 6 categories for PlayStation. I think that there's 7 in total. He's ran 6 out of the 7. The only thing he hasn't done is 100% or any of the hardware runs. He has a 1 world record, but it's the one that matters. And his favorite level is Bugle Basement. So honestly, a level that everyone here in the tournament, including him, has struggled with in race environments. But I mean, who's better to hit it than the person who needs to hit it, right? Bugle Basement giveth and it taketh away. Either we see Mike or we don't. So, honestly, great favorite level to choose. Very hard skip. But if you want to get into Spire in here,
Absolutely. Spyron, as we've seen in the past, a very versatile runner, running an emulator for most of his tournament runs, but has shown he can do N64, he can do hardware, PlayStation. I think he's dabbed his toes into PC a bit. So he's a very versatile runner. He is one of the only 3 runners that has a sub 30 time. That is a time of 29 minutes and something seconds, one of only 3 in this entire bracket. The other 2 being, of course, Soda, as you can see on the left side of the screen, and Nilo, who currently holds the best race time out of the 3. So definitely nothing to scoff at as far as the talent of Spyron, let alone all 3 runners. Categories ran on PlayStation alone, 8 in total, 11, a total of 9 world records because Spyron absolutely lives and breathes this game
that
and
man's a demon.
he loves sweeping records. It is one of his favorite pastimes is sweeping records. Not so much playing Spider-Man, just sweeping records. And like a lot of our runners in this bracket, favorite level is one of the hardest levels to do, tunnel crawl. It has been consistently a race decider in terms of difficult levels.
Definitely. I would not sleep on anyone's tunnel crawl. It's really anyone's race up until that point. So, it's one of the hardest skips in the game. We have a newer setup for it. It's one of the newest skips, but also the hardest skip that we do. We've only seen one person really go for the old school setup. So, I do think that out of everything, the runs get decided once we hit sewers. So, it'll be really fun to see just how these two players come together and figure all of this out, put the pieces together.
Absolutely. Though I will say one of my favorite things to see is if there is an issue with tunnel crawl, I love seeing runners pick themselves back up and really bring in that gap to bear afterwards just by clean execution. it's always entertaining to see, and I hope that if that does happen, that's what we're gonna see out of this run.
Right. Now let's check in on our runners as they go through. If anyone in the chat wants to predict, now's your time. We're closing the poll here soon. But honestly, man, I'm super excited to see him. You can just tell by Aspirin's face that he is nervous and tired. But all I gotta say is that this race is gonna be one to put in the record books. It's gonna decide who's going on to face the winner, like in winner's bracket, right? And I just can't wait to see how these two race. There are top runners for a reason. But,
Ab
do you wanna get to counting them down or, make sure that they're ready, all that stuff?
Yep, I will absolutely do that. Let's get that in.
And while we're doing that, honestly, do you have any predictions about who might come out on top? Who have you seen with the better movement is the real question, because that's what it's gonna come down to.
You know what's really tough? We see Oh, is that a
Soda
face
face
cam for
reveal?
Soda? Stop everything.
Yo,
We get a Soda face
drop it.
reveal. Everything needs to stop for a moment. We have, for the first time I've ever seen, a Soda face reveal. Amazing stuff. Uh, I think
Yo.
I think the confidence of doing that alone is gonna work in Soda's favor, in this race. As far as who's actually going to, get it done, uh, it's really hard to say. They have both done so well. They have one-upped each other again and again, and it's really anyone's race. I can't, in good conscience, pick a racer in this case. But Fetty, by all means, if you have a prediction, go ahead.
I mean, I can say this that the chat is saying the face of Peru, and I can't agree more. This man is super confident enough to show his face. He doesn't even do this on his own streams. I'm excited, and honestly, I just want to get right into it. So go ahead and start counting them down.
And three, two, one, go.
All right, and we are off. As you can see, we always seem to start off like everybody seems to start off at different times, but it's all good as we're seeing Soda immediately come in here. Now, honestly, I didn't think we were going to get a face reveal ever, right? I feel like I'm one of the only people in the community who's seen this man's face. So getting to see this is awesome. You guys don't even understand. But
This is a fantastic opportunity. I hope we'll also get a nice cameo from his window at some point,
we need
but
it.
it is amazing
Wow,
to
both
see
of
this
them
for the
with a
first time.
32. Can we talk about with both of them with a 32 going for the harder route? I Man, you guys are gonna see some top level gameplay here. I don't know how I'm gonna have to be watching this I'm gonna have to be watching this cross-eyed just to see what's going on.
Indeed, these two are absolutely neck and neck here at the moment, and that 32 is nothing to scoff at because that is a harder route. You would not believe how many times a run dies because that route is just so difficult to do that it's all too common to just fall into the void.
I'll tell you, couldn't be me. There's no clips to prove it. Could not be me. But, we are going into one of the levels that do trip up a lot of runners during this race. It's tripped me up, it's tripped Soda up, it's tripped Spyro up, it's tripped everybody up. This is in a race environment, this is one of the harder skips to hit. And honestly, trying to find a hostage in the dark, coming through, you might get glitched into hostages, right? Soda almost falling there. That's insane. We're gonna see Spyro pick up a 2-second lead as we're coming through. But honestly, both of them executing that perfectly.
And they side by side get into that elevator in sync with Soda just a little bit behind time wise, but to such a degree that we might as well keep it stated as a tie.
Definitely. Honestly, for everyone who's watching this at home, you're not going to see us move that unless there's a dramatic change. Just because both of the levels of these runners have us being like, yeah, they can be a little bit behind, but honestly, it's we don't want to keep changing it because it will change faces, all the time. So
Absolutely. I think the only time we're going to see this lead change from a tie to one of them being in the lead is on a death. Because
definitely.
these guys absolutely have this locked in terms of their execution. It's going to take something catastrophic to change that lead, at least until we get into the second half of this race.
Wow, if we're talking about good banks, good bombs all around, that was just perfect. I will say that, for a race environment, we're not talking about these in just normal runs. Like, Man, it's just crazy to see just the performance output of both of these runners. You may say like, "Oh, this is only the first couple levels." It's like, yeah, these are the first couple levels, and they're already performing better than a lot of our runners in these levels.
A lot of
Ooh,
time
nice hit.
you would not believe how many times PB attempts just die in these first few levels because of some, you know, ineffective movement or just a random death or something like that. So, even in race environments, this performance is absolutely stunning.
We get both of them sticking to the wall here. Honestly, it only affects their time by maybe a couple seconds, so I wouldn't put that off. Soda falling a little bit behind here just from, as we were just talking about, a little bit of poor movement, but the just because we're saying poor movement does not mean that they're moving bad at all. It just means comparatively that they're moving a little worse than they would normally. We're gonna see as the first ones come up, and that was so close to
That
being a
was
two cycle.
scary.
We're gonna
That's
see both of them come in here, and there we go.
There it is. Good. I was about to say, I think the kindness of Jonah was going to set the stage of who was going to be ahead, but it looks like we're still pretty much tied up, with
I will
Soda
say
just a little
Spyron
bit
has
behind.
taken I will say Spyron has taken about a 5-second lead. We can't really put off the fact that they did start at different times. Also, you are going to be seeing a different route here from them. So, it's that optimal movement that we were talking about. It's, every runner plays these levels just a little bit differently, and you really have to just, tune in and see exactly what movements they're doing. How quick are they? Because that's really where you're going to see the messes up. You're not going to see that many messes up on these skips. You're going to see them mess up on movement.
Indeed, especially with these police chase levels, they're they're pretty much linear for sure, but there's so many different ways that you can tackle that path to the end. And these guys are just showing some of the most optimal ways that you can do that. And speaking of optimization, both of our runners well versed in the idea of zipping on those overhangs to save just that little bit of time that they both need to save if they're going to one up each other. Ooh, Spyron getting a
I
little
was
bit
about to say,
close on that one.
people may look at this and think it's easy, but with these PlayStation, ooh, and Soda missing a zip. He told me he could zip early there at one point, but he should have zipped a little bit later, not taking his own advice. But you will see these little micro movements, micro zips, right? And it's just ooh, as Spyron falls down a little bit, but he can recover with that momentum as you see him do it. Wow, these runners are actually getting, the good RNG swings right here. So
In
it's so nice.
Absolutely. It's hard to overstate just how finicky the swinging is in Spider-Man, especially here on PlayStation with the input lag, because, where you swing is not really where you're facing sometimes.
Yep.
So it can really get messed up. And these guys are just such pros at the game that they are more or less immediately in tune with how Spider-Man's gonna swing. And I say that, but Soda's getting a little bit low on that one.
I will
But
say the
Spyro
L1 saved him there, to flip his camera as we see Spyron go into flying spider. Sorry about that for cutting you off.
No, no, absolutely. That was a little bit scary. Spyro getting a really
Ooh.
good setup on that, immediately getting into the spider fly position, clearing the, block on the crane.
So no
Ooh, looks
time
like
save for Soda, but we're gonna see him go straight into the spider fly. That's beautiful, beautiful movement right there.
incredible stuff. So these guys still basically neck and neck, just a few seconds apart. As we get closer to the end, that few seconds difference is gonna really come down to who's gonna be in the lead that you'll see on the screen. But for now, it's really too soon to say who's effectively in the lead.
I will say this, those are some beautiful swings from both players right now. The momentum is working out in their favor. If you don't know, that's why we swing cancel is to keep momentum. So just being able to, and it's complete RNG whether we get it or not, but to be able to have that momentum going into this is really going to propel them forward. As we see Soda just get into Rhino at 726 while Spyron is sitting here with the dub probably. Oh, bad Rhino as commentator Kurt strikes again. Honestly, it's not too bad. You're gonna get the blowback here, but Chuck, if you want to explain what this strategy is, I'm more than happy as Soda goes for the combo.
So the idea here is we have two different philosophies of how best to deal with Rhino. Spyron, as you can see on the right, uh, brings himself as close to Rhino as possible, effectively getting inside his character model and web doming. Whereas Soda, though he's defaulted to that route in the end, you can also do a punch or a kick punch combo with web gloves to effectively do the same thing until Rhino breaks that combo.
Right. And really, this is one of those levels too. This is Chase Venom, right? So it's really one of those things of you're supposed to be racing Venom, but most of the time you're going to see us ahead of Venom, kind of pushing his spawns forward. Both of them have different routes that they normally take for this, but we've seen that's just swinging low and optimal is really the best place for him because you can lose Venom here if you're too quick. So,
Absolutely. It looks like Spyron gets stuck on a couple buildings on his way over, but he's still well ahead of Venom, so much so that he has to wait for him. But that is going to give Sotolier a little bit of time to catch up, closing that gap ever so slightly.
right, and, the reason we have to run to these specific places is we have, triggers that Venom has to hit. Oh, and Soda's going for early Venom. Let's see if he slowed down
Ooh.
enough and hit the right triggers, and there we go. If he wouldn't have hit the triggers, this is what I was just explaining, you would have seen 2 Venoms here. So, another Venom would spawn inside the building while one waits outside. So,
And the problem with that is that the Venom that waits outside is the one where that your chase gauge is locked to. So if Venom
right.
is going to stay there, you cannot progress the level. You are effectively soft locked, and you have to restart the level if you want to progress.
Now, as we're nearing the end here, there is a strat to get well out in front of Venom here and beat him to the last load zone. But if you're a little too quick on it, then if you want to go watch some highlights of that, I recommend watching Soda's last race that he did. That wasn't against me, the one before, where he lost Venom on these. You can be too quick for Venom, even in the cutscene. So you got to be careful around here. But we're going to see Spyron wait for a second to see Venom move and then gets a really clean Venom as Soda does the same thing. That's perfect.
Amazing stuff. And we're going to go into our first Venom fight. This could be another one where RNG affects the placement of our racers. Not too bad, but just enough to maybe give Soda the time he needs to catch up and even out this race, even more than it
Definitely.
already is.
And something we haven't talked about yet is the web cartridge situation. I will say from Spyron getting a farther dome, then he is low on webs. I don't think it'll come into effect depending on the RNG of Subway, which we will get there whenever we get there, right? We'll explain it once we get there, but he opts to pick up the extra cartridge. So does Soda. Soda had a little bit better spawns than Spyron, so he is now caught up.
Right. I believe 4 or 5 cartridges is about where you wanna be at the end of the Venom fight, all things considered. That's fairly good web
Definitely.
cartridge management. You'll end up saving a lot more webbing if you go with the kick punch combo with Rhino, but that's just strategy at that point, whether you're
Right.
gonna sacrifice speed for
Ooh.
security.
Spire going for low pipes here. He knows he has to do that against Soda because Soda is really good at doing that. We get good low pipes from Spyron as Soda gets perfect and as now, honestly, is only about 5 seconds behind again. So, the little lag from our audio here. Um, we have a little bit of cutting out audio here. Sorry about that, folks.
Oh.
But sewer entrance looking great as Spyron and Soda both mess up the camera coming into this. Soda has caught up though. I can't believe that Soda is about 5 seconds off, about 4 to 5. It is
Right.
crazy. It's gonna come down to God pipes, and I honestly can't wait to see what both runners have in store for Subway. But also, if anyone knows me, they know I take this level. I think that this level is a make or break level right here. So
Absolutely. I'll let you take the lead on this one because this one is your baby.
it is my baby indeed. We get some perfect swings from Spyron as he's a little bit low, has to stick on. Soda and Spyron both saving themselves here on the last pipe. I honestly think that that's a good idea. It's better than dying because dying does reset you here. So I will say that yes, the runners do look in sync, as chat's pointing out. I will say that it's Soda did start a little bit early, but yeah, no, it's insane. I will say God Pipes is great, and then we both have a chance here. Both of them know how to do a super train, and so super train is where you end the train early and not on the frame that it's supposed to end. So we can see if the runners are going to do this as they both decide to go for inside the homies here.
Indeed, we've seen in previous runs from myself and Stop Jesse that if you're going to go for Hug the Homies, it is very dangerous and you can even clip through the
Ooh,
train. Ooh, a nice little desktop fidget toy.
let's
Love it.
go. And this is why Soda has the camera on. I'll tell you that right now, just to do it. I like that, honestly. So, oh, and what is this
And
for?
we got a
A
nice little
Pokeball from
desktop.
Spyron.
Oh, I've seen stuff like that. The little terrariums in the Pokeball. I love those things. Those
They're
are
so nice, man.
amazing. I'd love to pick one up at a convention at some point.
It says we got Soda hyperventilating into a bag here. I understand that the nerves are probably going crazy for both runners right now. If any of them are paying attention to the stream, or if Spyron doesn't have us muted, right? Then honestly, I can tell you that the nerves are probably there because they do not. You can see the pressure and they don't want to give up. And as Spyron's showing off
Hey,
the baby,
that's right. This man is going to be a father. He has just recently let us know that he is going to be a father of a little bouncing baby boy. So congrats to him on that, for
I
sure.
honestly, I'm super excited for him. Don't tell him, but I'm getting him a gift and sending it. I'm buying him a gift from over there, sending it to him.
That's amazing. I'm sure he'll love finding that out when he edits the VOD later to put on YouTube.
I gotta get you one too, man. Don't sleep on our co-commentary here is also having a kid. So
That is true. Just real quick, we also found out yesterday. Spyron and I found out uh, at the same on the same day, basically. My wife and I are going to be having a little girl. So now it is a speed run. It is a speed run to see who has their baby first.
and honestly, I bet both runners of that category really want to pop that thing out. But we're gonna see them attempt to both start for Super Trade here. It is a frame perfect thing to do here. So you have to get it at the right time and hope that the lizard stops spawning for you. There is a certain order to do this. You're going to see both of them go for it. I honestly think both of them are going to get a frame perfect, as Soda's a little bit late on the last lizard, but is still going to get a frame perfect. So, yes, they are losing time here from what they normally run, but honestly, you can't ask for something better in a race environment. As we come up to the gauntlet, honestly, put the splits on stream for the gauntlet real quick. This is where runs come to die right here. If you made it past the first parts, the first levels, this is where all the skips are. As we get Spyron with a perfect zip through for the cutscene, and
Soda
Soda
not getting that.
and Soda looking for it, but honestly not lined up as lizards start to come in on him. He's gonna try for the zip,
No.
but he's gonna get caught up in the lizards and gets it on the second try. And honestly, you think this is the easy part, but this is where the hard part and the fun part begins of running this race. As we see Spyron go for normal hidden switches here, no Fetty switches, just a little bit of normal hidden switches.
That's right. And this is where a lot of our and this is where a lot of our you know, over 30-minute runners typically end their runs as well. Sometimes they can eat the issue with falling in the first few levels or not getting the right skip and having to restart it. But tunnel crawl here, because of how long it takes to get through these tunnels, especially if you die once or twice, this is the major reset point for folks like me, at least.
Yeah, as my chat says, this is where runs come to live or die. This is what makes you a man, is right here. This is what grows you up into an adult. As Soda not getting the right zips is going to have to go for a longer one on the back end here if he does get perfect zips. As Spyron's starting to line up for tunnel crawl skip. Deceivingly hard. If you haven't watched Spyron's tutorial, it's deceivingly hard. Getting some small zips is going to have to crawl this as Spyron is lined up and locked in. Gets the skip, flies in to the load zone. Soda's through from getting the small zip on the end there. And man, this is going to be a race. Are we going to see a Fetty fall from Spyron and Soda juking us out with the old one? We already know what was going to happen there.
All right,
As Spyron
Spyron
is going
getting
for
that
it.
Petty Paul, and he's all lined up. I think it's, yep,
And it's, yep,
foregone
there it is.
conclusion. There it is.
And honestly, he's going into Spyron. Spyron's home turf is this maze right here with this fantastical zipping ability that you're about to see. These roof zips are nothing to scoff at. These are very hard to do, and him doing them no look is crazy. As Soda opts not to go for the Fetty fall, says it's a little bit too dangerous for his position that he's in, so he's gonna, just hit the puzzle normally right here.
No, and that's fine, but he will need to do some fancy footwork to catch up at this point, as Spyron is now most certainly at least a level ahead, which I am going to go ahead and
And put
change that
him in the
lead.
lead.
Yep.
I will say that, you were correct about, Soda needing to do some fancy footwork here. That's what he's gonna need to do to pull it off. I do think that he is opting to not look just like, Spyron. The main thing is that it is very hard to get the zips in general, so just getting them without looking is insane, as Spyron's gonna see how good his luck really is when it comes to this RNG as we get to probably the run killer of all run killer boss fights here, Venom 2.
Indeed, this fight is harder than it looks, especially on harder difficulties, because Venom can be absolutely unkind, especially if you're going in for combo strats on him. He can interrupt your combo with just a swipe of his hand and knock out a significant portion of your health. It's less likely that that'll happen on easy, but they should still watch out for those random spawns.
Man, Inspiring getting unlucky with 3 spawns all the way across from him. At least they're not on the roof, and he gets to finish this out as we see Soda going, and he gets 1 spawn from across the way, opts for web balls. We're gonna see if that's gonna come into play here later. Ooh, another spawn across the way. I do think that this is where we're gonna see how far they really are away from each other, as Spyron is gonna attempt one of the funnest skips in the game, in my opinion,
Oh
which
no!
is the Bugle. Oh, wow.
That's an extra cycle for Soda with Venom and in a bad spot,
Well,
unfortunately.
that's what doing 2 web balls in a row really does, but he does fill that up. So, it's usually supposed to be either 1 web ball cycle and 2 combos or 3 combos in general. So, Soda is a little bit behind, and he has been struggling with the skip in races, if you haven't seen, as Spire goes for the big leap of faith here and hits it perfectly. Couldn't ask for a better jump into the load zone.
Indeed, a lot of our racers taking the safer strat of landing on the third floor instead of the fourth, or I'm sorry, landing on the fourth floor instead of the third floor. Spyron takes
Ooh,
the riskier
going under
strat.
presses. He's going under presses. This man is not holding anything back. This is one of the hardest skips in the game if you're not used to it. And ooh, good readjust from Spider-Man there, honestly. As Soda's, you're gonna see Soda do this probably the same thing. If he's tuned in, he's got to just keep up with Spyron at this point as we get into Bugle Basement, Soda's favorite level and one of the levels that everyone has been struggling with in this tournament.
Indeed. Now, I believe Spyron's been learning some of the backups for this skip to make sure that he's still staying competitive, but it looks like he might not need that at all, as here he
As he,
goes. And
ooh,
that is a one try bugle basement. That is a lot harder than it looks, especially that first clip out of bounds. That is
definitely.
amazing. Just clear testament to the skill of our runners.
Of course, as Soda comes through with that adjustment zip and stop the presses, which is insane, as you're going to see first-person shooter mode strats from Spire in here. And Soda with the YOLO basement strats, I do love this. This is how I do it. No lineups required, as Soda's going to hit Bugle. Ooh. And that's why this is his favorite level, because that was beautiful.
But he's got to do a
Oh,
little bit of lineup to jump around. And there he goes.
better safe than sorry. As Spyron's leaving Mysterio, Soda's coming into Mysterio. This is going to be a very tight race. It might all come down to the win cycle, as we've said for probably the past 4 races. And someone may have that comic. I have no idea, but someone may
Not a,
just have that comic.
not a single clue. Not a single clue. Uh, but yeah, it makes sense that this has really come down to that one sick lock multiple times, because in our last few races we have had the absolute cream of the crop as far as runners going against each other. So it really was going to come down to one cycle lock
And there was
deciding
Warehouse.
races.
There was Warehouse, which it's just man, you got to say for our top level runners here, Warehouse is not a problem, right? So you gotta love that.
We
As
absolutely do.
Soda's leaving Mysterio and going into Warehouse, as Spyron has just left Mysterio and it's about a quarter of the way through lasers. This is one of those things of, you just saw the skip on Spyron's screen. It's a very hard lineup. What are you thinking about the race so far, Chuck? I know we're getting and narrowing the end of these levels, right? What are you thinking here?
Well, I am thinking that the gap has widened significantly uh, due to some poor luck on Soda's part and a few safety strats. Still showing fantastic work from both of these for sure, but that gap widening at this point, this is exactly what I was talking about when I said that the latter half of this race is what's really going to decide things. I still think it's anyone's race until we finish Doc Ock off, but it is now looking a little clearer who's going to be ahead.
Right, and honestly, these final stretch of levels, it's like you real and especially in a race environment going up against top level players, you can't really hold back. Those safety strats are kinda holding Soda back here, but I will say that, hindsight 2020, right? Not going into this, you probably are thinking, "Hey, safer is better," right? Until the other person's hitting all of these crazy skips, and Spyron doesn't get a crash this time as we're leaving Stop the Fog. Um, it honestly, if Spyro misses one cycle, but Soda hits it, then he's right back in this game.
Absolutely. Although, with stopping the fog and its long cutscene, uh, it could even be that one cycle lock may not be enough for Soda to gain that lead. But I guess we'll just find out when we get there, especially with that unfortunate zip on the bottom of the bridge.
Yeah, it's all gonna come down to raw movement and skill as, we get some no-look swings and a zip from Soda. Didn't even know you could zip there, to be honest. Um, I will say this, that no matter what, these runs are perfect. I can't really, fault the fact that, some of this movement isn't as crisp as it could be, just because I know that this is like even though this is a peak level environment, right? This is with 2 runners in their prime, you kinda have to put it out the whole bag, you know what I mean? You have to have that backpack pull out the whole bag of skips to be able to gain even an inch in these races. So I'm happy to
Yeah.
see that Soda is entering in Doc Ock. We will see Spyron if he's going to live or die to this one cycle. As we come in here, hits the target. That jump may have messed him up. I don't. Ooh,
That's the
that
one
was
cycle from
close.
Siren.
That was super close. And we're going to see if he's got new Carnage tech, which is what I was about to say about Soda, having this Carnage tech in his back pocket. But yeah, Spyron is in the lead right now at Carnage, and that's where you want to be in this situation. You want to be out in front. As Spyron takes the safety strats for Carnage, going back to what he knows, full 5 web cartridges. I mean, honestly, this is a sight to behold here. He's on pace.
But we don't want to jinx it just yet. However, I will say, both of these guys putting on a fantastic show. If you go and watch their PBs and world records on speedrun.com, it's not going to look much different than what you're seeing on the screen. You are absolutely in for a fantastic treat watching this race here.
Definitely. As we get Soto with the early button press here, he looks lined up. We shall see. And that is a great web dome. And Spyron leaving Carnage right now as Soda is walking up to him. Yes, I've been reading chat, so I'm not going to say what I was going to say there. But honestly, this race has been fantastic. What Soda is hoping for here is that Spyron is the 6th player to ever glitch out of Monster Hog, as Soda goes for the new carded strats here. Honestly, this has been a great race. I don't want to call it yet, right? But we got one runner in Monster Hog, right? And we have one on Carnage. So really, it's Spyron's race to lose here.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't seen the fall through on Monster Rock in quite a while in this race or in this tournament alone. But as you said, only 5 people have fallen through the floor in Monster Rock, and it's not super likely that that's going to happen now. But there's always a chance. So we'll just have to see where exactly this last level leaves our 2 runners. But if all goes well, it's very clear that Spyron is going to run away with this race. So for those of you who bet on him, I bet you're feeling pretty confident here at the moment.
I will say that for a race, I am pretty sure that this is a 28 from one and a 29 from the other. For a race, if they keep running consistently, right? If this is a consistent all the way through, I will say for a race environment, that is nuts. We're not taking any prisoners on this race.
Absolutely. If Spyron gets uh, that sub 29, that will make him the fastest racer of this tournament so far. He will have the best race time of the tournament so far because even Nilo has has just a sub 30 here at the moment. Our current best racer, our
I
current
will
best race
say
time.
it's insane to always see the top level of movement and prep, like being prepared, right? This is a clean 28 from Spyron. He's got to be feeling happy about this, as so does rounding about a quarter of a way through Monster Rock right now. Yeah, and as commenters are pointing out, he can't go out of bounds anymore. As a 28.09 from Spyron, is that what I think it is?
Let me see.
Is that what I think it is? That is a world record, ladies and gentlemen,
That is
from
a
Spyron.
world record.
We have our. Ooh.
That is a world record by nearly 30 seconds.
That is a world record from our world record holder, beating his record by an entire 30 seconds. This man is cracked right now. I didn't think we were going to see one. And this man just decided to pull out the world record in the middle of racing one of his hardest opponents.
That's man. Wild. You know what? Even if Spyron doesn't take it against Nilo in the next race, that is a badge of honor that he's going to get to wear and just absolutely ride that feeling throughout the rest of this tournament, if not carry it into whatever the next one is. And that's a 29.03.
That's crazy. So we got two of the best race times in one run. I will say that this 9 seconds is very doable, so he could have had a 27 going into this. That is wild. But this man cooked as we get both runners in here for this post-game interview. Man, what a race from both of y'all,
Holy.
huh? Yo,
amazing stuff.
Oh my days.
Can we ask who let this man cook, bro?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But Spyron with the world record. Dude, how are you feeling coming into this, man? It's my first question. How are you feeling with a world record run?
My heart hurts. I'm like, so going into the one cycle doctor, because I was like, oh my days, if we pull this off, this could be insane. And we did. And I was like, oh no. And then my heart's like crippled now, and it's like, oh, I'm stressed. But yeah, what the hell, man? What a run. Like, honestly, I can't even describe what that was. Like, I don't know what that was. That was great. Good stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry that it had to be this race totally that happened.
I think that's the only way you win.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you win is to break a world record. But I will say this before we move on to Soda. I know you're sitting here thinking about that 9 seconds right now.
Oh, no.
I know it's eating you alive right now.
Right, if about the little movement
tweaks.
If I had cutscene skip. Yeah.
those little movement tweaks that could have got you underneath that. The 27 barrier is here, and it's probably here to stay. Like, we are going to be down in the 27s here soon. But Soda, man, what a race you put on, the pressure you put in, the time, the face reveal, everything, man. How are you feeling going in? How are you feeling going into this race and also leaving this race? How are you feeling?
Well, I was a bit nervous here, definitely, because it's Spyron, right? But I did this whole face thing because I was like having like a little of a, is it like a, how do you call this? Like a you have like a
premonition.
Premonition, that's the word.
There it is.
Chuck's on.
I had the premonition that I was gonna lose, so I was like, you know what? It's gonna be my last race. So what if we just put the camera on and and all,
You said show the world this face.
His actual face, but yeah.
But man, good run, dude. Good run.
I gotta say, yeah, this is my best race run. 29.03, which beats Nilo best race time. So.
Yeah, take that, Nilo.
Yeah, we're just shout out to Nilo right now. Chuck, man, I know you gotta ask these runners something, right? Get in here.
Man, what can I even ask you guys? Riding these feelings that you have right now, not just beating your best race times before, but achieving a world record, being just a mere, not even 10 seconds off of your PB in Soda's case. What is there to even ask? Like, I could ask, what do you think you need to improve on? But man, you guys showed here that you are the real cream of the crop. But you know what? I still have to ask it. Let me start with Soda. Soda, is there anything that you think you could have worked on with this particular run that you would want to carry over into your next run, whether it be for a PB attempt or in the next tournament?
Well, in this race, I lost time. I didn't do like a major mistake, but I did very small mistakes. Like hitting switches was a bit slow. I did a stupid thing on missile attack, I think. And also Monster Rock was also not really good. But you know, those small things that I need just to work on, just doing runs, I guess. I am hyped to see the 27 in PlayStation. Actually, I will see if I make time to grind for that as well. Because now that Spartan just got it, I think Spartan just got a 2809. I feel like it is indeed possible. So I think Spartan 2 was gonna be grinding as well. I don't know.
But yeah,
I mean, I'm definitely gonna be grinding. I don't know about y'all, but now I see it's possible, even probably on hardware. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to see it.
Fantastic. I do have a quick couple of questions for Spyron. Then, one, what was the one thing that you did during this run that you're like, oh, I'm locked in. I am set for this.
Do you know what it was? It was when we got through the gate without having like past the cutscene and we swung straight through it.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was when I was like, okay, this is a run. Fair play.
And then I guess the other one I gotta ask ties back into the previous question I had for both of you. What do you think could have changed in this run that might have put you over the edge to get into that 27?
See, I would have said Monster Rock, but I golded Monster Rock, so it probably isn't even that, even though that felt scuffed, but I still golded that. The only thing like
Venom.
immediately that comes to mind
Venom.
is first Venom,
Venom 2.
maybe. See, even Venom 2 was a bit like, because he jumped, I got the 3 cycle still, so that wasn't terrible. Rhino was a bit scuffed. That took a lot longer than I'd liked it to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Rhino. Rhino is always, I swear down, like, he has me number, this Rhino sometimes.
I can tell you that it was Venom 2 is the thing that pushed you,
Yeah.
like to the 28.
If we got better spawns for Venom 2 when it was cleaner, then yeah, that would have been probably.
You also got stuck on Venom Chase. You were getting stuck on walls.
Oh, I got stuck on
and stuff
walls.
like that.
You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. Yeah, I did get stuck a bit.
trust me,
Yeah,
I was watching this from the very beginning, man. I like taking notes mentally about where things need to go. But can I just say I'm proud of you two. Regardless of this run, like it just makes me so happy to see that how far this category's pushed by the two best runners in the world. So congratulations to both of you. Congratulations on the world record, Spyron.
Thank you.
Soda, unfortunately, this was a loser's bracket race. Unfortunately,
Yes.
that means you are exiting from, this race, but you are exiting with a bad run. You are exiting with probably, honestly, the second best run in this tournament, with the best run being right next to you in this race, right?
Yeah.
So you can't
Yeah,
really
it's okay.
argue with the results, man. But honestly, how does it feel to be top 3, right? To be third, and also to have the second best run in the race, right? This would have been the best time if you wouldn't have gotten world record. So
I'm happy to be made it this far. I feel like I enjoyed every single run I raced with the guys. I think I said this at the beginning of the bracket stage that I wanted Spyron to get world record in this tournament, and he got it here. So I'm really excited for more times that similars, and I feel like Spyron, you deserve this win, and I wish you really good luck against Nilo, and I will be supporting this stream at all. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Yeah.
the
crazy.
sportsmanship from Soda's side. I got 2 more questions. First one, Spyron, What do you have to say to Soda at the end of all this? This is like, the last race before the winners bracket, right? Like, what do you got to say to Soda in this, man? Do you have any emotions, any feelings, anything like that?
Yeah, just like obviously, I mean, subtly, you're the one I've been chasing for ages. Like since the very beginning, especially running emulator, it was like, well, you were at the top. It's like, right, if I want to obviously do big things, it's you I've got to chase down. And so to come to this point now, and having like we've had back and forward with like world records and stuff before as well, and then to have it, I lost you in the first race, so that was like added on me as well. I was like, right, well, we've got to try and win this time round as well. Yeah, I mean. I guess, yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better opponent, I don't think, for this record to come out in. I just think, yeah, it's been, as someone I've looked to for like strats, for better runs, for cleaner results and things like that, to come in and be able to, I guess, showcase that up against you is really cool. So yeah, I couldn't have won against a better person today. So yeah, congratulations on making it this far. Thank you for racing against me, and yeah, well, definitely carry on. I'm sure like you said, you're going to be grinding more now anyway, so we'll see more of that, I'm sure.
Honestly, I'm so impressed that this tournament has pushed it down so much. New strats, new ways to get lower, right? Even though we may have been taking records outside of these races, just to see the pure strategy come into play is really nice. I think the race environment has pushed everybody to get better. But Soda, do you have any what are the plans after this, man? What's up? What are the plans? You streaming with face cam all the time now? Like, what's going on?
No, it's just this time. But probably for next tournament, maybe. I feel like, well, I have like these weekly races that I'm doing, like apart from this community, right? That I'm focusing on right now. But like, if I find time, I feel like I'm gonna be grinding this game to get the 27 as well. And yeah, I feel like I want to also like increase this popularity of races in between the community. We could maybe do weekly race as well, like in any category of this game. I would like to do that with all of you guys. But yeah, I just like this year is been amazing for Spider-Man 2000, and it's just like it's not even half of it. Like we have a lot of surprises coming up, and yeah, I'm thankfully. I'm thankful for Spider-Man for streaming this whole thing, for Crypto for organizing the tournament, and for you guys for playing it. And well, I'm proud of the times I got here, and yeah, it's just that we wish you the best of luck the rest of this year on this game.
Man, couldn't have said it better myself. Chuck, any questions before we wrap it up?
Man, I am just kind of spent emotionally just from the excitement of this race. It has been fantastic watching both of you run. Man, I honestly, if I were Soda, if I were you, I can't think of a better race to go out on.
Definitely.
You know, uh, losing it out to a world record is definitely the best way to go out, I would say.
The best possible scenario.
Exactly. So congratulations to both of you. You both did fantastic work. You are pinnacles of our community when it comes to the Spider-Man speed running. And I wish you the best of luck. Soda, you going forward with your next adventures in the speedrun. Spyron, good luck to you in the next race against Nilo, when we're gonna see exactly what all this talent culminates to.
I hope the spirit bomb of energy helps Byron out. But yeah,
That's it. Now.
Honestly,
I'm just keep it consistent. Yeah, I've got to do this twice now. Apparently, yeah.
you
I've
gotta
got
do
to
it. You gotta do
reset
it
the
2 more
bracket
times.
and then win again if I want to win. Oh my days.
We got as Mons is saying in chat, we have Spyron versus Nilo 2 Electric Boogaloo. So honestly, the sequel is coming. I can't think of better racers to go out on. But yeah, as this is coming to a close, thank you everybody who has, thank you everybody for supporting the channel. Thank you guys for maybe subscribing to the YouTube if you haven't yet. Thank you to all the new people who are coming in and looking in our Discord, looking at these runs, watching us get better at a game that we love and a craft that we love, right? Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Crypto for putting on this show as we're wrapping up Losers Bracket, right? thank you to Crypto for putting on this show, and thank you to Spyron for hosting this show. And honestly, Soda's been doing a lot of tech in the background too with recording. So thank you to Soda for providing stuff, right, that we could use. So honestly, thank you to all the runners for participating as we're entering into our championships right here. And honestly, I can't think of better runners to go out on to say goodbye to the losers bracket. So congratulations, both of you, as we wrap this up.
Yeah, clapping.
Yeah, claps, drinks in chat, please. Drink, claps in chat, please. But thank you to everybody. And Spyron, you want to take us out?
I'll take us out, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much. You'll see this on speedrun.com shortly, probably. Excellent. All right, thank you, everyone. Take care. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
So long.
Bye, guys.